use your God power to get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Number 3, avatars as representations in the virtual world of Second Life. Avatars are representations of people in computer environments. You can't get into the computer yourself because you are flesh and bone, and the world of the computer is made of ones and zeros. So if you want to experience this unique world, with all of the interesting experiences that it offers, you will need to recreate yourself in a form that will be able to function in the computer world. Your being, quote-unquote being, in the virtual computer world is called an avatar. Even though you have recreated yourself in this virtual world, you still exist in your flesh and bone world simultaneously. In other words, you live in and exist in both world environments at the same time. However, your flesh and bone world is in control of your representation and expression in the virtual world of ones and zeros. While you are still flesh and bone in experiencing this world, for the time that you are in the computer, you are focused on your experience in the virtual world. This avatar being is made of the same stuff that everything in the computer world is made of. By expressing yourself as an avatar, you can function and have all the virtual world experiences that you could never have in your flesh and bone world. In this special computer world, you can see other avatars, buildings, rivers, bunny rabbits, and anything else you can imagine. While these things all seem separate and independent, they are all made of the same things, pixels and ones and zeros. You, as your avatar, are generated and exist in this world in exactly the same way as a tree or a building does. The only difference is the tree's meaning and definition is that it is stationary and doesn't move around like you do. And the building is also stationary, but it is represented that it is made of bricks and cement. This makes a wonderful analogy of your representation in this physical world here on Earth. Like the virtual world, in your flesh and bone world, you are made of the same things that everything else in this world is made of. You're made of atoms of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and various other atoms are arranged into molecules and eventually creating the flesh and bone structure that you know is your body. Buildings and trees are made of the same things as you, but just have different meanings and designs. Every world or universe has its particular makeup, and everything in that world or universe is made of the same uniform building blocks in the same way, which is the format of that experience. If you want to have a virtual world experience, you have to represent yourself in the format of that world for that experience, which is ones and zeros and pixels, if you will. When you wanted to have an experience in this physical world, you had to represent yourself in the format of this physical world, which is atoms and molecules. You cannot have an experience in any particular world environment without representing yourself in the format of that world. While you are representing yourself as pixels in the virtual world, you are still physical in this world. In the same way that you are representing yourself in this physical world of atoms and molecules, you are still a non-physical being in the energy world. This next video example is a more detailed look at what it is really like in a virtual world, specifically the virtual world of Second Life. Video example: your Second Life experience. What is this video about? This video example is an introduction to the virtual world of Second Life, which is entirely in the computer. It begins at how to set up your free account and what it takes to get started in your new Second Life. In this world, you can buy things with your real money and even build things. One of the biggest businesses in Second Life is real estate development. You can buy a house created by someone else or build your own house where you can invite other people, avatars, to visit. In this computer-generated environment, you are able to create everything about yourself, or should I say, your computer representation in Second Life, which is known as an avatar. You are able to decide what sex you want to be, your body type, size, and proportions. You can select your hairstyle, skin pigment, and your starting clothing style. Everyone in Second Life can move about by walking, running, flying, or teleporting from one place to another instantly, which is the preferred method of travel. They also have sports cars and yachts in this virtual world. This video shows all the places that you can go and the kinds of things that you can do in Second Life. You can create and do almost anything in this virtual world that you could do in your real life world. The most important aspect of this computerized adventure is that you are in control at all times. You can decide who you want to talk to, what you want to say, and how you want to look and act. In this world, there are literally hundreds of thousands of others who have expressed and represented themselves in this experience. You can see how they look and what they are doing in the same way as you can stand on a street corner and watch other people who have expressed and represented themselves as humans in this physical world. Just like our own real world, you can walk up to anyone you see and start a conversation. You could be meeting someone who lives next door to you in real life, or someone who lives across the world in another country.
For best results, pause this video at this point here, and watch the video example mentioned in the segment. The links are located in the book chapter, and at the end of the book. If you are watching this online, you will find the link for this video example listed in the notes section. Then, after watching the associated video example, continue watching this video from here.
What does this example show, and what does it mean? The most important point that this video example demonstrates is that in this world, you have absolute control of how you look, your sex, and what you do and say. This example shows us what it is like to have this complete and absolute autonomy over ourselves. We have the same power over our lives in our real world, but we have forgotten it. That was a result of our complete immersion into this experience. That is the point of this video, is that we have the power to change anything and everything about ourselves in our world. If we could and would only believe it. Set up a free account in this virtual world and see what it feels like to create your own representation, exactly the way you would like it to be. Take your new represented self around to meet other people and see how they'll automatically accept you as you are. Perhaps you will see me there. Play in this world for a while and experience the freedom of expression and creation. Then begin to create your reality here in your real first life, just as you have imagined it to be. This video example shows how much flexibility you have in creating your avatar representative and your experiences in the virtual world. However, there are some huge differences between how we are representing ourselves as humans and how we are representing ourselves as avatars. The most striking difference is consciousness and autonomy. We think that our avatar can be anything that it wants to and do whatever it wants to, but it cannot. We as humans can have the avatar look any way and do anything we want it to do. The avatar itself has no independent consciousness of its own. It can't do or decide anything by itself. We aren't as capable as the universe in making worlds. Perhaps someday we may develop AI or artificial intelligence to the point where we can infuse our avatars with a mind of their own. However, that would cause some complications. How would you tell your avatar that you have decided to leave that world and that he's now going to have to die? But for now, we don't have to face those life and death issues. They're just mindlessly doing whatever we want them to do. The universe, on the other hand, is able to create worlds where the avatar equivalent, humans, are self-aware and have their own consciousness. While we do have some direction from our higher selves, we can still go about creating our own experiences pretty much as we choose. There is a price for this self-aware consciousness, however. It is up to us to change our own experiences and make our own world. The avatar had the advantage of having its higher self, you and me, do all the creating and environmental changing. This is an advantage because at the higher level of consciousness, higher self level, we know that we can do anything that we want to, and we easily do it. Likewise, at our higher self level, we could remake ourselves and change our world in a flash. But at our normal level of immersed consciousness, it's not that easy, or at least we don't think so. You are actually a very different kind of being in reality and at your core. In your natural form of pure energy, you wouldn't be able to experience and enjoy the many experiences that are available in this physical world. So, like the avatar you created to get into the virtual world to experience it, you created a physical avatar made of flesh and bone so that you could have the wonderful physical experiences in the physical world. Again, just like the avatar example above, we still exist in our non-physical world, even though we have a representation and expression in this one as well. During our experience in the physical, we are still in our non-physical world, but momentarily focused on our experience here. This is just like the time we were in front of our computer playing in the computer world of Second Life. We are still a physical human form, but for the moment, we are totally focused on what we are doing in the computer world. In exactly the same way that you decided how you were going to look, what sex you were going to be, and what kind of experiences you would have when you entered your virtual world of Second Life, you made those same exact kinds of plans and decisions before you entered your physical life experience here on Earth. In both cases, you were in charge of planning your own experiences and making all the decisions on your own before you entered your new experiences in your new worlds. It is mind-boggling to realize that we are energy beings who are existing in a non-physical world form from which we have expressed and represented ourselves into a physical world form from which we have again expressed and represented ourselves into yet another virtual world form in the computer. While we are spending our time in our computer world, we are actually non-physical beings representing ourselves as human beings in a physical world, representing ourselves as avatar beings in a computer world. Our non-physical being inside is the director of our experience as human beings in the same way as we, human beings, are the directors of our avatars in the virtual world. Wild, isn't it? What happens to your avatar life form when it dies? How would it die anyway? What is the format of the computer world? First of all, since it is your representation, created by you and under your direct and total control, how could it die without your permission and desire for it to do so? The simple answer is that it cannot. You have to decide from your broader perspective as a human that you want to have your avatar die and cease to exist in the virtual world. This is exactly the same for our physical life experience. We don't die here in the physical unless we have already decided to from our non-physical level. It may seem like an unexpected thing from our immersed viewpoint, but it is not. How could it be? How could your avatar self in the computer world of Second Life die unexpectedly? I can see it now. You log onto the computer and start the program, and a message pops up and says, your computer representation has had an accident and has died. Your account has been closed. You would say, what the? But that doesn't happen. It can't. You are always in charge of your representation and expression in that world. However, if your avatar self were self-aware and self-conscious like us, and in the same immersed condition, how would you quit playing in that world? He would have to die, and he wouldn't know it was coming, would he? You could run him out in front of a computer-generated bus, and he could get run over and totally pixelated to death. Luckily, our computer avatars aren't self-aware like we are, and we can just stop logging on. We don't have to figure out some way to kill off our creation representation to stop playing in that world. It is true that there are many deaths in the virtual world. That is to say, that people get tired of it and decide to cancel their account. That is like a death, because they are withdrawing from the experience. However, their avatar doesn't just fall over with a pixelated heart attack. Instead, they just disappear and are never seen again. But just because they are dead in that virtual world doesn't mean that they don't still exist in another world. They do. This is an interesting thought. What if a person is an avid Second Life player slash experiencer, and he dies in his human life? He would die in two worlds simultaneously. He would be withdrawing from the computer world of Second Life, while at the same time withdrawing from the physical world of physical life. However, as always, he would still be a being of pure positive energy in the non-physical world, where he is immortal and can never die. Will he represent himself again in the physical world? Undoubtedly. That is a very good way to understand death in our world. Not only can no one else alter your reality without your agreeing to it, but no one else can kill you either. The invitation and the opportunity have to be created by you. Even when you die in this physical world, it is only a withdrawal from the physical experience in the same way as it was a withdrawal from the virtual world experience. It doesn't mean that you cease to exist, but instead that you no longer are represented in that particular incarnation or that particular world. So the better way to explain death in any world is to say that you are no longer representing yourself there. In the virtual world, that means that you disappear, never to be seen again. In the physical world, that means that you fall over with a heart attack or you get hit by a bus. It all depends on the normal format or usual method of withdrawing from that world or that expression. What if you decided to die in the virtual world and you disappeared as usual, but then, many years later, decided to get back into the virtual world again? You set up a new account because you've forgotten your old information, or maybe you just want to do something different this time. So you decide to try a different sex, and you have a different name and a different look. What would you call that? It's still you, but your representation in the virtual world is different this time. Would you call it reincarnation? If you reincarnated back into the virtual world, wouldn't you remember some of the same people and the same places? Remember that the normal entry in the virtual world is quick. You don't have to go through birth and then grow up as a teen and finally become an adult 20 years later. You get to come in as an adult instantly. So reincarnation in the virtual world is a much faster process than in our world here in the physical. Can you imagine how funny and difficult it would be if you had to immerse into the virtual world in the same way as we do here on Earth? You would have to find two people who are different sexes and want to have kids. Then you would have to emerge as an infant and grow up with them before you could eventually get to do your own thing. But immersion in our world does give us the realistic experiences that are so exciting and fun to experience that it makes it worthwhile.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, Chapter number 10, Segment number 6. Let your quest for knowing continue. Options. Click on the tan arrow to go to the main course menu and guide, with links to all course chapters, excerpts, and special reports. Or, click on the blue arrow to start watching the video, How to Use Your God Power. Or, click on the green arrow to start watching the video, The Meaning of Meaning. Up next, special video options. And, hear how to download the course e-books, MP3 audios, videos, and the slideshows. Right now, for free. Now switching to the special video options menu. One moment please. Options menu. Click on your selection number, or wait for the free download information, coming up next. "15 seconds till we switch to the next page with the free download information. Pause the video now if you need more time to review the available selections." Now switching to the free download information. One moment please. Download all of chapter number 1 for free. What is your God power and how to use it? Available download formats include the Adobe PDF, ebook, with the transcript and closed caption files as well, MP3 audiobook, Windows Media Video, slideshows, Flash Movie, and iPod MP4. To get these free downloads, go to the link listed below. Special excerpts, Secrets of Life and Death. What is incarnation? Download this special report for free. Available download formats include the Adobe PDF, ebook, MP3 audiobook, Windows Media Video, slideshows, Flash Movie, and iPod MP4. To get these free downloads, go to the link listed below. The 3 biggest lies of all time, and why believing them could kill you. Download this special report for free. Available download formats include the Adobe PDF, ebook, MP3 audiobook, Windows Media Video, slideshows, Flash Movie, and iPod MP4. To get these free downloads, go to the link listed below. Chapter 5, Special Excerpts Number 1. Attracting What You Want. Understanding Attraction, including special techniques. Download this special report for free. Available download formats include the Adobe PDF, ebook, MP3 audiobook, Windows Media Video, slideshows, Flash Movie, and iPod MP4. To get these free downloads, go to the link listed below. How to Use Your God Power, The Master's Course, by Richard Lee McKim Jr. The entire course is available at Amazon.com in DVD-ROM format. 40 CD audiobook and an 18 DVD set. Delivery by postal service and by immediate download as well. Go to Amazon.com or use the direct link below to get all the How to Use Your God Power course materials and products. Let your quest for knowing continue.